With Valentine's Day right around the corner, I have begun my yearly tradition of binging all forms of romance to hide the fact that I would leave this earth how I came in. By myself. Along my journey of self-deprecating, I started to reread one of my favorite rom-com mangas ever. Hori-san to Miyamura-kun, or Horimiya for short. I'm up to date on the manga, but the newest chapter was just so sweet that it made me want to reread the whole thing from the very beginning. Which I did. In one day. Yeah, because I just don't have anything else better to do. Anyways, I started rereading and I realized that after years and years and years of reading countless romance mangas, this one is probably my favorite of all time. Now let me just say this. I changed my favorite whatever of all time, all the time. But as of right now and for the foreseeable future, Horimiya is my GOAT for rom-com manga. That's until more Kaguya comes out and Best Girl Inu and Best Boy Ishigami get together. But that manga needs a video on its own. So back to Horimiya, the greatest romance manga that no one's ever heard of. The story of Horimiya is a simple one. We have two main leads, Hori and Izumi. And like most shoujo manga, the setting takes place in high school because it always does. And again, like many other high school rom-coms, our two leads are complete opposites. Anyways, our female lead Kyoko Hori, on the surface, is kinda your basic girl next door. Beautiful, smart, hardworking, loved by many, hated by few, she could do no wrong. But that's just on the surface though. It isn't until she meets and gets close to Izumi that we see her hidden self. On the other hand, Izumi Miyamura is a complete mystery at the beginning of the story. We first see him in chapter 1 dressed well with super long hair that covers most of his face and glasses. He doesn't talk to anyone in class to the point that many in the class think that he's an otaku just because of his appearance. But he's nothing like that. On the contrary, it's kinda funny, in the simplest term I could put, he's an e-boy. When he's not in his school attire, you can see that he has a very slim figure, described to be relatively handsome and attractive with a slightly feminine looking face. Deep blue eyes, messy black hair with parted bangs, pale skin, about 9 to 10 ear piercings, and few minor tattoos on his left shoulder, upper arm, and side. Oh, and he's not an otaku. He's not even great at academics. The reason he covers up so much at school is because he doesn't want to reveal all his piercings and tattoos. He even goes as far as to still wear the winter uniform in the summer because it's just long sleeved. Now, like most common rom-coms nowadays, these two opposites meet in a sort of wacky way. When Hori's not in school, she's your typical housewife. She literally calls herself that. She often ends up neglecting her friends to go take care of her little brother and do more housework. So one day, Izumi brings her brother back home from school because he ended up getting hurt because he fell on the street. And there's where she actually talks to him for the first time, even though she didn't realize who he was when they first interacted. And realizes how different he is outside of school compared to when he's in it. Kinda like her. And through this shared secret, long story short, after that one after school meetup, they sort of become best friends. As Izumi visits her after school very often so that he can hang out with her brother, as he has taken a liking to him. She allows this because she's also interested to see more of him. So after this stereotypical beginning, the manga becomes my favorite because of how they just kinda switch things up. Spoilers, after some back and forth sweet moments, they get together by chapter 23. And here's where it gets good. Because this manga just feels like one of the most realistic high school lives that I've ever read. If you've dated before, you will see so many similarities in their interactions. Or at least I have. For example, Izumi spends a lot of his time at her house, to the point that her father, who's really weird, loves him like a son. Her brother already loves him like an older brother, and her mother loves him too. And watching him tolerate her family is honestly some of the funniest and most wholesome stuff you could read right now. Some of the panels of him hanging out with her family when she's not around are some of the best the series has to offer. I probably enjoy this a lot because I've been in those shoes when you really get along with the family of the girl you're dating. In my opinion, it just makes the relationship much better. Anyways, now the prime reason why I enjoy this series so much is that it does something that not many other rom-coms do. They show the actual growth of the relationship. One of my biggest gripes with the genre is that, in fact, that throughout most series we see the build-up of a relationship, but once they get together, the series ends. We usually get like a wedding chapter and poof, series over. Not here. We get the build-up, we get a confession, and then we see them date. And not for a bit. Like I said, they get together in chapter 23. The manga is currently 110 chapters as the recording of this video. So that's almost 90 chapters of them dating. And it's wonderful. I'm telling you, if you dated someone for a while, it's sort of like looking at a mirror with how they argue, how they deal with one another's annoying tendencies, how they comfort each other when they're down, and clearly watching them fall deeper and deeper in love with one another. It's just so realistic that, with all that being said, there's still so many funny moments that make this like a manga. It still has a manga feel for it. For example, Hori isn't really a tsundere, but she has some tsundere qualities. Like, she gets mad when she sees other people talk to Izumi, but it's not when he's talking to other girls, but rather when he's talking to other guys. For some reason, she has this fear that he won't break up with her for another girl, but rather another guy. Also, Hori has a bit of a temper, as she often gets mad at him for dumb reasons, like most girls do. But Izumi is usually the one that apologizes, which just gets her angrier. And the only way usually to get her to feel better is to scream at her, or even hit her, as she's a bit of a masochist. Yeah, Hori's she's a complicated one. But if you want to give this series a try, I recommend just go read chapter 81, as it's a perfect microcosm of their relationship and how they're just made for one another. But the relationship isn't the only thing that this series has to offer. Again, unlike other rom-com series, there are more couples that get some attention in this one. We have the second couple of the series in Yuki and Toru. What's funny about them is that they aren't dating, but they are, but they aren't. It's complicated, but let me explain. At the beginning of the series, Toru had a humongous crush on Hori, and Yuki had a crush on Izumi. But once those two got together, instead of pouting or being spiteful in any way, they completely support them and end up hanging out with each other more because of it. This eventually led them to fake dating for some reason I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was because some guy asked her out and she didn't want to like reject him, so they made this lie up. I don't remember. But obviously, because anime/manga, they end up falling for each other for real. But they don't officially start dating because they just like how things are at the moment. This is a relationship type that I've never experienced, but I've seen in person. When they're together, but not really, but they are. Really silly to explain, but it's so sweet watching them interact with one another. And it's also very funny because, I'm not afraid to say this, I think Yuki is best girl of the series. She's just adorable, she's cute, she's awesome, I love her. And I can't wait till she gets more focused chapters. The next couple we got is between Sengoku and Remy, the student council president and a student council member. This relationship is different from the other two because they began dating before the series even began. The series takes place when they're all third years and they began dating as first years. So compared to the others, they aren't in the honeymoon phase anymore. They are much more comfortable around one another. You don't see them doing the silly little things that new couples do. If anything, the guys often go to Sengoku for dating advice since he has the most experience, and the girls do the same as well with Remy. Now, their relationship isn't showcased as much compared to the other, which sucks, but it's okay because the few bits we do get is enough. All in all, this series is a must read if you love reading rom-com stuff. Whenever I'm reading it, I literally just have a smile on my face. Mainly because it's not always about the couples or the romance. There are so many funny moments in this series. We get chapters that are focused on the guys just being dudes. And these are funny because, like most high school dudes, they're idiots and they're just often goofing around. One of my favorite chapters is actually when they're arguing about who has the cuter girlfriend. And girls don't say anything because the girls have a similar chapter when they're arguing who has the sexier man. Again, I cannot recommend this series enough. I love it. I love it so much. I recommend it. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. There are other characters in the series that I love, like there's a second year student named Sauda, but I think I said enough. Now it's up to you people if you want to give this series a try. That's the end of the video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. You can find chapters online anywhere. You can buy the manga. You just gotta do some little Google research. I'll leave a link to where I read the manga in the description below. But again, if you end up enjoying the series, let me know. I want to know if my recommendations are any good. How good are my tastes in like rom-com stuff and other animes. Again, also let me know if you want me to keep doing videos like this where I do recommendations and reviews of mangas, anime, or whatever the things. And if you did enjoy this video, drop a like, subscribe for more. And I'll talk to all you beautiful people next time.